Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wa salam ala rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. A beautiful hadith narrated by Hakim ibn Hizam. Hakim ibn Hizam was the nephew of Khadija radiallahu anha, and he was the one who actually bought Zayd ibn Haritha radiallahu anh and gave him to Khadija as a gift. And as you know, Zayd was one of the great Sahaba of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, brought up in his household, who was actually one of the prime personalities who accompanied Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Taif and persecuted. And then of course he went to Battle of Mu'tah and he became Shaheed radiallahu anhu. So Hakim narrates that سألت Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam فأعطاني. I asked Prophet alayhi salatu wasallam and he gave me whatever I asked him. ثم سألته فأعطاني. Then I asked him again and he gave me. ثم سألته فأعطاني. And a third time I asked and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave it to me. And that was actually the characteristics and generosity and mercy of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that whoever came to him and asked him of anything, whether he is a believer or a non-believer, sallallahu alaihi wasallam will do his best within his capacity to give that person what he is asking about. To the extent that the Quraysh, the Mushrikeen, the ones who did not yet accept Islam, they would go back to their own tribes and they will tell them, "Oh my people, if you need something, go to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he will give it to you as if he does not worry about poverty. He does not fear of poverty." ثم قال لي, then sallallahu alaihi wasallam told me, "Ya Hakim, oh my dear Hakim, إن هذا المال خضرة حلوة." The things that I gave you are green and sweet. These are the things of this dunya. They are very attractive. Everyone is attracted toward them. فمن أخذه, and then he said, whoever takes them, بسخاوة نفس, with humility, with humbleness, he does not compete with each other. He doesn't say, "Oh, why did you give him this and why did you give me this?" He's always, very humble and polite in his behavior. He's not asking for more. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, يُبَارِكُ لَهُ فِيهِ, give him barakah in what he has been given. And then he says, وَمَنْ أَخَذَهُ بِإِشْرَافِ نَفْسٍ, and whoever takes it and he's proud and he's complaining, "Oh, why did you give him that and why did you give me only this?" He's always unhappy. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, lam yubarak lahu fi, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not give him barakah. And then he says, kalladhi, the one who akala wala yashba', the one who ate and he is not satisfied. A person who eats but he does not get satisfied, then he is like the person who has been given something and he is never happy. And then sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions this famous hadith which says, "Al-yadul ulya khayru min yadi sufla." Indeed, the upper hand is better than the lower hand, which means the hand that is giving is better than the hand that is receiving. And subhanallah, this hadith has to be taken in context. It doesn't mean that people who are giving, they're better than the people who are receiving. Obviously not. But it tells you that how Islam encourages that you seek the rizq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you lead your own life, you have income for your own living, and you are not depending and expecting someone to help you out. That is the underlying fact. But of course, because of the differences in the society, there could be some people who do not have that capacity and they have to be given charity, which is just fine. But having the capacity and capability, if people sit down at home and do not do anything and expect others to feed them, then that is disliked in Islam. Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anh, he used to go to this masjid and he saw this person all the time in the masjid. And he said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I am worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala." He said, "Who is providing for you and your family?" He said, "My brother who is working outside and he is providing for me and my family." And Umar al-Khattab said, "Your brother is doing a greater worship than you are doing." Subhanallah. So, al-yadul uliya, the one who is giving, khayru min yadis sufla. It is better than the one that is receiving. But look at the humility of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, how he taught us to give someone who is actually deserving. That when someone comes to you and he is asking you something, you don't give him like this so that the person receiving will have his hand lower than you. Alayhi salatu wasalam's practice was that he would be giving the person like that so that the other person will take the hand up above his hand and receiving it. So subhanAllah, he is honoring the person who has given you the opportunity to give him something. So actually the person you are giving to is doing a favor upon you, and not vice versa, not that you are doing a favor to the person who is receiving. Subhanallah. That is the humility Islam teaches. That is the understanding of our deen. That is the reward that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives to the believers when he is humble, that he will give him opportunity to feed others, to distribute some of the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him to others, so that he can expect the reward in the hereafter. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.